everyone from TVR Media. We're here with Dr. Michael Brown, and I just want to thank you for doing this interview for us.
Very glad to do it.
A couple questions for you. We're here at the Return, which is calling on the nation to repent. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you believe we need to specifically repent of?
Yeah, so if we're going to repent, we need to know what we're turning away from. This is a call to the nation and a call to the church within the nation. So on the church's side, we need to repent of making the gospel into a business, of trying to do things in the power of the flesh, in a compromised gospel, and not really confronting the culture with the truth, and leaving our first love, letting the sins of the world become the sins of the church. On the national level, we need to repent of the sin of abortion. We need to repent of our sexploitation of the nation. We need to repent of the incredible divisiveness that's in our midst, of being on the wrong side of the culture wars. So there's serious issues, and basically we're at a critical moment. No hype, this is not just religious talk to me. I really believe we're at a critical moment, and that if we truly cry out to God and humble ourselves as a body, and it spreads out to the nation, that God will have mercy. If not, America as we know it could be a memory.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this. What do you think of the Johnson Amendment and the church's responsibility, or not responsibility, the church upholding the Johnson Amendment?
First, the Johnson Amendment never should have been. In terms of the way it affected the church, that was really not why it came about, and not why it should have been there. Whatever the original political motives and all that, it became a tool ultimately used against the church. That's the first thing. The second thing is the church had no business complying. In other words, we do what God called us to do. Why do you think we've been persecuted around the world? We honor authority, we respect authority, but when the authorities tell us to disobey God, we say, sorry, we have to obey God rather than men. So it's our own fault for not speaking out more. I don't mean that every pulpit should be endorsing political candidates or anything like that. That's not the main focus. But we've been silenced because of the fear of the Johnson Amendment, and we don't want to lose our tax exemption. In the meantime, we've lost our souls.
Right.
So I really appreciate the president fighting back against it, but I don't think that churches have done anything more because of it. In other words, we were lacking in boldness, and it's not the changing of the law that's going to make the difference, but the changing of our hearts. So the law should be abolished. It's not good. It has no business being there. But churches need to do what's right, speak up, speak the truth, regardless of cost or consequence.
So do you think that's something church leaders should repent of during this call to repent?
And again, it doesn't mean that we get heavily politically oriented. It doesn't mean that's our main focus. But our fear of confrontation, our fear of losing certain status, that we have to repent of.
Okay. All right. Have you heard of the prophecy that America could be the modern-day Noah's Ark and Trump could be the modern-day Noah?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I would take that with a grain of salt, though.
Okay.
Because God's moving in the nations, and in fact, there are many nations around the world that are far more Christian in terms of values and gospel growth than in America. And the idea of everything having to come to America or under Trump for salvation, I'd struggle with a bit. Or Noah was a preacher of righteousness. I voted for Trump. I'll vote again for Trump. I support him, but he's anything but a preacher of righteousness.
But do you think that the way he has come up against the world to stand for what he believes is right could be like Noah?
Well, I believe God's raised him up, and that he's like a human wrecking ball and a human bulldozer, and it takes someone of extraordinary courage and fortitude and stubbornness to do what he's done, which I deeply appreciate and honor. At the same time, because of the way he is, there's a lot of collateral damage and a lot of reproach that's come to the gospel because of Christian association with him. So it's been a mixture. I appreciate what he's done, and I think very few people could have stood the way he stood to the political system and to drain the swamp and to a biased media and to everything else, to the tyranny of China and all that, move the embassy and do things no one's done. Yet, because, like I said, a human bulldozer, there's collateral damage. So as a gospel minister, I preach Jesus, not Trump. He's the one I focus on and exalt and look to.
Right.
But the president gets my vote. That's how it works.
Okay. I think that was all I had for
Well, great.
you.
Well,
But
thank
all
you.
right, thank you.
Yep, sure thing. God bless
All
you.
right, God bless you.
Yep.